everyone. Welcome to Diversity Saves Community Showcase. My name is Nekola, she, they, and I am the programming director and your host for today. If you are tuning in to Diversity Saves for the first time, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization made up of passionate creators, actors, and fans from marginalized communities who wanted to create a means to amplify voices not only in the community but in the works we consume across the industry. You can always learn more and see what we are up to at diversitysaves.org. Sorry. Before I introduce our guests today, just a little housekeeping. As you may have seen a few minutes ago or when you clicked on the stream, we are Twitch affiliates and there are occasional ads. While Twitch ads may feel a little disruptive, ad revenue from Twitch, as well as subscriptions and bits, directly benefit our grant giving program. Subscribing to the channel will remove the ads and directly donate to our programs, but we understand that is not accessible for everyone. Hopefully, we have at least made them a little less intrusive, and if not, you can blame me because my therapist can handle it. Today, I am joined by the staff of EUphoria, an award-winning studio producing high-quality actual play and interview content dedicated to diversifying and empowering the voices of our storytellers, hobbyists, and industry professionals from the other side of the pond. As I let them introduce themselves, our icebreaker question for today is going to be a little nod to one of your series that was produced called Diced, about food and TTRPGs, hosted by the amazing Arsene. Love them. Hello. So the question today is, what is your favorite snack at the table? I will go first. As I said, my name is Nekola. I go by she, they pronouns. I am a white, femme, non-binary person. I have a shaved head. I am wearing a black cardigan and a purple flowery shirt with a black background. My favorite snack at the table are literally any gummy candy because, like, if we're playing in person, we can use them as the bad guys, and then when they kill them, then we eat them. It is so much fun. We're going to go straight across as we are on the screen, so we're going to start with Aida.
Hi, thanks for having me. My name is Aida. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a Latinx woman of color. I have tan skin, dark eyes, dark wavy hair, and I'm wearing a blue jersey and a blue cardigan. My favorite snack at the gaming table are grapes. It keeps my fingers clean. There's usually no spills or messes. It hydrates, and I can stuff them into my cheek like a hamster should I need to get on with the description or something.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And you can also
smart.
Modify your voice with having do little voices at the table. I love that. All right, next we have Darcy.
Hey friends, it's me, JC Darcy. I use they, them pronouns. I am also a white, femme-presenting non-binary person. I have it's getting long now, sort of reddish brown hair with an undercut on the side. I'm wearing big round green glasses, a sort of plaid button-up over a black Akira shirt. My favorite snack at the table, I'm a self-saboteur. I love a pretzel, which is great until you need a drink, which happens very, very quickly. So I prefer a chocolate-covered pretzel. Those are peak. But I'm not as healthy as Aida. I should switch to grapes.
Okay. Carbs are healthy. They're needed. I was
Carbs
gonna
are
ask
great.
hard or soft pretzel, but you said chocolate. How about a yogurt? Can we also do a yogurt pretzel?
I guess, yeah. We don't get soft pretzels very much over here, so I think when we say pretzels, we mean the hard. I might be
on the continent. We do the soft ones.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. In the UK, it's usually crispy boys.
Yeah.
Okay, we have
like
to come
bar
back
snack.
To that.
Okay.
We have to come back to that. Because soft pretzels are my life, and it might be hurting me that someday I do want to move across the pond. Anyways, I'm making jokes. Last but definitely not least, we have Michelle.
Hello, my name is Michelle. My pronouns are she, her. I am a brown-skinned mixed-race woman with long, black, wavy-ish hair. I am wearing a maroon kind of colored cardigan and a black tank top, and I've got my little lunar moth necklace. It's sort of a statement necklace made out of laser-cut wood, which I love very much. I'm not a big in-game snacker, and the reason for that is I almost always play online. Not just APs, but even my friends, my home games, we usually just join online because we live quite far away from each other, and no one needs like the munchy crunchy sounds in the microphones. So usually I eat before, but then we were talking off stream before we started about like having multiple drinks, and I am a drinks hoarder when I'm playing, so I'll usually have water because I'm talking a lot, and a cup of tea, and if it's the evening, probably also a glass of wine all at the same time, and I'm just going between different drinks the whole game. That's more what I'm about than snacks.
Loving the multiple drinks. A lot of my games are online too, and I did have one game where we started randomly sending each other 5-pound bags of our favorite candies, and they would just appear, and so we would have these big bags of like Swedish fish, and then it was just a fun little joke that we had. I love the flexibility of online play. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're moving past the pretzels. I realize I should probably not take up too much of your time talking about.
We can talk about the pretzels. It's okay.
In Germany, they're known as bretzels instead of a P with a B, like baby.
Ooh.
And they're usually sourdough, and you can also get them with imagine like a giant slice of cheese baked on top, so it's crispy. That's a thing as well.
Okay.
That sounds amazing.
Germany? Why have I never heard of this before?
Yeah. But on our European community, we've had people who say, German people also say, like, some of the best pretzels I've also had were in France, because the France boulangeries, the bakeries, they make pretty good pretzel too. And you also get the pretzel dinner rolls too.
This is now a pretzel only stream. Say more about the dinner rolls.
In America, like mall pretzels are like a way of life. You get your standard soft pretzel with or without salt. I prefer without salt, but and you can get your dipping sauces like your cheese or your garlic butter, or actually I did have an amazing cream cheese stuffed cinnamon sugar pretzel.
But that's usually, if I recall, Auntie Annie's sort of pretzels. Yes. I would say that the at least the German pretzeln, they're not as soft. They're more a bit. Imagine the best bagel you've had.
Yeah.
This sort of texture.
Yes.
A little denser though, a little thinner.
Okay. But really,
we've got you back on board.
I will talk about pretzels all day, and maybe later I will pitch a pretzel-based TTRPG stream for EUphoria.
Yes, please.
But let's go ahead and get on to these questions that I have prepared. Also, if you are watching this live and have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and I will work them in as I can. All right. Our first question. Let's just go back to the very beginning. And talk about what your relationship to one another is and how EUphoria started out, because it's only been live for about 1.5 years.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me. So what inspired you all to come together and launch the studio?
I'm looking at Darcy on my screen, and we're having a moment of like...
It was you, right? It's that Spider-Man point. It's your fault. No, it's your fault.
So, Darcy and I are the co-founders. And from my point of view, I'm an American-born person, and I've been living in Europe. I'm in the Netherlands for like 15 years, many years now. And I started out loving TTRPGs. I started playing D&D 5e. But I noticed that if I wanted to like sort of have that actual play experience, a lot of the people I knew were mostly playing American games with American friends. I have American friends too in family. They're awesome and cool. But the experience was usually, we're starting at 8 p.m. EST. That's 2 a.m. my time. So that wasn't a lot of fun. If I wanted to have home games online, especially after the Panini, again, very late times, very early waking times. And that got to be less and less fun. Eventually, I started out with more European-based communities, and they were primarily European-based, but they didn't necessarily say that like from their chest, front and center. So we sort of had games that the Europeans played at, but then, again, love the Americans. I'm American. Americans came in and like, yay, us! All the games happening now at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. The good mornings happening at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my time. And it's a little ostracizing. And I thought, you know what? I have done the work in the trenches in various communities saying like, what if we had a community that set front and center from their chest as part of their identity, European-based? but looked like this. Looked not cis het white man. And then I had a friend, and I let my friend take it away.
Yeah, we had worked together on a couple of projects. Again, I had worked in different communities and different APs. I've only really done, in terms of online gaming, it was almost straight to AP for me. The theater kid in me was just like, no, we need to make it bigger. We need to make it more performative, I guess. But I think it was mostly necessity. We'd been with other communities and we were trying to push that, the want and the need for time zone friendly things for us, and pushing the diversity and femme people and neurodiverse people, and making not just accommodations for those people, but the accessibility baked in from the jump. And it was like the Venn diagram had a gap in the middle. We had some people doing femme friendly stuff and some people doing European stuff and all these kind of part successes. And we just looked at that gap and said, no one's going to fill that unless we do it. So having worked together on a few things, we knew that we had good rapport, we had similar sort of workflow, we had the same goals, we had the same intent. And we just looked at each other one day and said, should we do it? And it was very much the like pushing each other off the edge of the cliff, like, go on, I'll go if you go.
Yeah.
And we did that for about 6 months.
Like maybe I'll do part-time with the other, like Darcy and I both worked with prize winning and prize nominated studios as well. We were both, I'm going to say, we were both instrumental doing the trench work of community building, of production, of marketing. We had our fingers in all the pies, but I will also say maybe our names were in front and center. Maybe you know, we know how it is getting like the 20 cents here and there from Twitch. I didn't see 20 cents for the hours we were putting in. And I figured I also want to get my community more used to having a share of that pie in what we thought is a different or better way.
And we did okay for a while. We had big ideas. We were aiming for the stars. That's why if you see our logo, we are a shooting star and there's a teeny tiny little rocket, because we always called this project Rocket. We were going to go to the stars. We were going to aim big. And eventually we realized, okay, we're flying. We need to keep flying. We need some direction. We need some help. Michelle!
And I was like, I don't deserve a Michelle. What the heck? Why is Saint Michelle? Oh my God, Saint Michelle wants to help us.
You're so charming. I had
pitch
worked
over to Michelle and see how she tells the story.
I had worked with both of you on the other channels that you had called home, and I had like been doing AP performing for a while, and like I was always the one who'd pop up on all the different channels, and you know, everyone goes, I'm so and so, and I'm from this podcast, or I'm from here, and I'd be like, I'm Michelle. I just show up, and I didn't really have a home base, you know. But I'd enjoyed working with both of you. So as soon as I saw you were like starting something, I was like, I'm keeping an eye on this. And it really didn't take long before I was sliding into the DMs, like, if you ever need any help, because like, this is what I wanted to see. Like, I was like, oh, you're prioritizing like groups of people who maybe struggle to find work, not even just work, but like fun games, performance, APs, interviews, discussions, stuff that centers around the scene on our side of the pond. And I was excited by that. The time zones, I don't have to like get up at the crack of dawn or stay up really late to play. And also the fact that you were extremely vocal, like from the off, like diversity is important. Like European does not mean white, blonde, like only a certain type of look, a certain type of lived experience. It doesn't just mean able-bodied people. It includes like the queer community. And you were very like front and center with that message, and I was like, this is something I want to help with. I want to help do this. And my brain is a spreadsheet, so if I can help with some of the like organizy bits. I'm not a producer. I can't make the Twitch stream go. You push the buttons for that. But if you need help with the emails and the admin and all of that like unglamorous stuff that needs to happen to make it go, let me help, because I care about the project, and you know, I'm very honored that I've got to be a part of it for about a year-ish now.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's the timeline.
From one dragon meat to a dragon meat.
And I don't think we would have got to where we are now in the last 12 months without Michelle. Like, Michelle came up behind the rocket ship and started pushing. Like, that's her role.
They looked
we're
at the
pushing the
porthole and I
buttons
was waving
inside.
in, like, let me in.
Let
me
me-
too.
The analogy in my head is Darcy and I were driving it, but
Mhm.
Michelle was like, have you actually read the manual? The manual actually says to do it like this.
Mhm.
But yeah, and I love it. I love how much of a community we've built already. We've
Yeah.
been going for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Wild
A year and a
stuff.
half.
So this is everyone's reminder that you need a spreadsheet person, because as my day job is in accounting. Spreadsheets are my life, and I love them so much. And everybody needs one of those people in your life. But I mean, the second part of that question, you said there was originally Rocket. Where did you come up with EUphoria? Because it's adorable.
That was
Listen, Aida loves alliteration. Okay, if you can pitch a title with alliteration, Aida will greenlight it. If you look back through our catalog, we had Christmas was Deck the Dice. We had Mechtember was originally supposed to be May of Mechs. We had Summer of Sci-Fi. She just loves an alliteration, and so we knew that it had to be something like that. We wanted the E and the U to be really prominent, to, like Aida says, say up front, this is who we are and this is what we do. And that was about the only word that we could think of that had an E and U at the beginning that was even vaguely relent.
You just love wordplay. Like Aida, you came up with Diced as well for the food and gaming show. TTRP Girls for our like all femmes content. Like, we just love a bit of wordplay. Who doesn't love a bit of wordplay?
It's fun. It's fun.
It's beautiful. It is beautiful. And I just wanted to shout out like how you have consistently kept it the forefront of where you started. There goes my use of the English language. Of being a diverse group. And I'm going to read it directly from your website because these numbers are amazing.
Oh dear.
That your performer demographics are 79% LGBTQIA+, 55% BIPOC and global majority, 40% disabled and neurodivergent, and you've represented 20 countries. And that is just exactly what we love to see here. So I just wanted to compliment that.
Thank you so much.
Do you know how we know those numbers? Because Michelle has a spreadsheet.
Yes, spreadsheets. Spreadsheets. I should, as I just said, I was a spreadsheet girly. I probably should put together a spreadsheet and see what our numbers are like. I don't know.
Yeah, and we do try very hard to keep that self-identified as well. We don't like to make assumptions about people's identities. So anytime someone's appearing as a guest on the channel for any reason, we send a little form with like, what's your headshot? What's your bio? Like, tell us all of that stuff. And also, if you want to share this demographic info, then we can put it in and keep the numbers. So we do try not to make any assumptions about people. So that's just what people have felt willing to share with us, which is incredible. Like, the people like feel comfortable sharing these aspects of their identities.
I love that. That is amazing. All right, continuing a little bit about how it started. Has anything changed from your original ideas in ways that you did not expect? You can say no. We can move on.
I don't think we expected the community response. I don't think we expected the Discord to have 250 people in it at this stage. Nice. We definitely didn't expect... We knew that gap existed and we needed to fill it, and we thought maybe 30, 50 people would be interested in listening and paying attention. I don't think we expected a rush of people going, oh, you're there, thank God, there you are. And really claiming us, like Michelle said, like as their home. This is people's majority Discord. The morning messages, and sometimes our general chat can get wild with like 500 or 600 messages is the max I've seen. But it's thriving. People are really happy to be there and to chat to each other and talk about food an awful lot. Who knew that space was required? But it was.
I think like one thing that I wasn't expecting when I first joined, I knew the AP side of things, like the public facing side, but the fact that so many community games, like off screen just for fun games, would happen as a result. Like, we have like a voice chat community games, and then a couple months back we had to add a second one because people were starting to have so many games that they were clashing and we needed a second voice chat. So then it makes me so happy. Sometimes I'll hop onto Discord and I can see they're both in use and there's people playing games, because that's people just want to play in their own time zones. The amount of times we get people joining the Discord and saying, "Oh, hi, I have friends in New Zealand I play with. I'd so love to play a game of this with people who are awake at the same time as me," you know? So that's something that I didn't expect to be such a big part of what we do as well, is like the off-stream kind of just community side of things, as you said, which is really lovely.
For me, has anything changed from the original idea? I think in my head, it was just like sort of TTRPG general content, and we're just going to grow organically. But what I didn't expect was the reception from our peers and people, I would say, that are maybe above our punching level, our hitting level so far. And the welcoming we've had, the support we've had from publishers, from companies, from people who are professionally in the AP community, who do it as a paid living. That sort of recognition and the assistance has been really wonderfully welcome. That I did not expect. I always thought it was going to be like, oh, it's going to be sort of for funsies, but we're going to do it at our best. It's not something I expect to make a living out of, because the world, Aida's arms randomly shaking. But I think I'm surprised at the speed that we're sort of proving this is a concept that not only is fun and community building, but it's also something sort of helping people make an extra buck, helping people's professional goals advance, and helping getting more visibility to people who may have not have had opportunities because of who they are or where they're located.
I love that. That is exactly what we're trying to do on this side of the pond. And it is just one of those amazing things that when you see a space that is attempting to decentralize and decolonize, all of these people come out of the woodwork because they haven't felt welcome in the communities before. And so I just love that you all are over there doing that.
Thank you.
All right. So, next question. It is astounding how much you've accomplished in the year and a half that you've been live. Sounds like there was more going on before that. How long were you preparing before that launch date? And what do you think is your secret to maintaining this consistent output of quality content?
We went
It's quality. Don't worry.
We went live in June, and we didn't have proper things until in August.
Okay.
But before that, we probably were thinking about this around, let's do it after March.
No, I can tell you when it was, because I had a baby. We can almost mark it exactly to the birth of my little baby boy.
January.
Because you remember we had some of those initial meetings, and I had a newborn baby. I was breastfeeding in meetings with Aida.
Darcy said they were bored. Like, I did not like, get over here. They said they wanted to have. I did.
Yeah. I was sleep deprived, but it felt that important. It felt like tangent about motherhood. That was my second baby. I have another one, and I know how easily you can lose your sense of self when you're a mother, because especially when they're small, they need you. You are their sole caretaker. You are keeping them alive, and that's all you have to be for a couple of months. And I'd been through it once before, and I kind of knew, like, I need something to keep me sane. I need something to keep me level-headed and focused that isn't just this. And planning this Project Rocket, was kind of it. So yeah, we were having those conversations when he was weeks old. So that was October, November.
Okay,
But then, yeah, I think we made the company in March, maybe?
Somewhere around there.
And we started streaming in June just to say, we're here, we're going to play Baldur's Gate and do some co-working, and we'll have a proper launch in August. And I think we hit affiliate in a month, 6 weeks?
Something like that.
Certainly before we started streaming content in August.
Yeah.
Wow. That is awesome. So what do you think your secret is to maintaining this?
It's Michelle saying, stop it.
Yes.
No, that's too much. You
I
cannot overprogram.
I was going to say ADHD or hyperfixation.
Yeah.
That too.
A bit of that. It's definitely a bit of, I think in a way, like, yes, you were talking about Project Rocket maybe for a few months, but like in a way, you two have been preparing for this in like for years. Like you've been building the skills of like building workflows of like working with different channels and like how do different people do this and like how do different people approach safety at a table and how can we take the best of all those different things and how do we produce streams and how do we get the best of that. And then you had the very wise decision, I think, which is a huge part of it, which is we're going to pre-record as much of the AP content as we can. True. Because I mean, for one thing, it's more accessible for players to be able to just be like, just take a break whenever, we'll snip it out, rather than being like, I've got to hang on and stay until the official break, you know? It means that if life happens and an edit takes a bit longer than usual, we can kind of move the calendar around and make sure we still have things spaced out nicely so there's never too long of a gap. And yes, also I'm the boring one sometimes who has to be like, these are all great ideas, we can't do them all. You know, and it's wonderful that we're so creatively fulfilled that we want to have 1,000,001 ideas and do everything. And part of, I think, being consistent is knowing like what is a sensible amount to attempt right now. You know, I think some of the best laid plans get out of hand and then you end up not being able to do anything because you burnt yourself out. And I think we all try really hard to like be super on it with like, let's look after ourselves and each other and try and spread the load to avoid burnout, because it's so easy to do. Even with a project that you love and care about, it's easy to do.
Even more so, because you want to make it work. You want to. There's a lot of us working from spite. A lot of the time, we want to prove ourselves a bit and make it work. And so there's a lot of, like Aida says, hyper focus. Like, how can I make this? Aida is known for wanting to raise the bar on video production to a ridiculous degree. Oh no. And sometimes we have to say, Aida, it's great, it's wonderful. Just leave it. It's fine.
No, I re-rendered it because I found a 2x2 pixel of green.
Not the pixel. You sent me the screenshot, and I was like, I can't see what you're talking about. You were like, I had to re-render it because of this pixel. And I'm like, okay, babes.
So it's a conscious choice. Yeah, but it's a conscious choice to talk to each other, we're very blunt with each other sometimes. I think people, I only when you joined us, Michelle, at one point, Aida and I were having a conversation, Michelle said, oh no, mommies are fighting. And we were like, no, this is just how we talk. This is just, we don't have the pretense. We're very, very honest with each other.
We'll take each other out to dinner later.
Yeah, exactly. But right now, just calm down. And Michelle has adopted that very quickly. We're all very honest and direct with each other and say, this can't happen. This should happen. Prioritize this. And taking care of each other is just a major, major factor, making sure we don't burn out.
Until the pixel story, I was going to ask which of the other Diversity Saves board members told you to say that, because that is what they keep saying to me. But then the pixel story, I realized that, oh no, this is just a common hyper-focus thing, and I love it. And I, 2 years in a row, did our Christmas... one here and one on my personal channel, doing the 12 days of Christmas and running 12 games for Christmas for our fundraiser.
Yep, been there.
Like, hey, we're going to keep it to one weekend this year because you burn yourself out, but also you burn out our audience. And I'm like, oh. That's not exactly what they said, but it's like, people are just, you want to keep it going. It's not exactly what they said, but it's very funny. So yes, pacing yourself. We have the time to do it later. I love that. It is a big, big lesson to learn. My mouse won't open my notes. There we go. All right. So, I keep using the adjectives wonderful and amazing because I have been consuming bits and pieces of your content, and it's amazing. So, EUphoria it's put out a bunch of wonderful content. Which projects have meant the most to you personally?
I have.
Go ahead.
I have one that I think one of you two is going to say, so I'm going to wait and see if you say it first, and then I'll say something else.
Okay, I'll be self-absorbed. Hi. One of the first things I did with the channel was a 4-part Blades in the Dark that I GM'd. And that was really special to me because I had done a lot of AP performing, but not a lot of GMing, and the trust you all put in me to do that was really wonderful. And I had an absolutely sensational cast, and we've ended up being accepted into some webfests and getting some nominations, which is really wonderful. And I'm really proud of what we achieved. And it also just, again, like, the working practices were different. Having that level of safety when we were doing like potentially kind of dark topics in a game, although it didn't end up being that dark, but Blades has some scary stuff that can happen. So we had really robust safety. We had, because we were recording, we could pre-recording, we could just have above the table check-ins, and then one of them was left in the edit, and I think it was made into a little YouTube short to sort of demonstrate how we approach safety, because Darcy checked and was like, can I leave this one in? And we were all like, yes, great, which was lovely. Like, we're demonstrating how we try and look after things like to a public facing audience. But also, like, the edit was banging, Darcy's sound design was banging, like your overlay was banging. It was a really good AP. So that one's very special to me. But I'm going for a twofer. I also really loved the Disability and TTRPGs panel that we had earlier this year. Our lovely community member Kieran pitched it and said, I'd love to do a panel talking about how disability can be represented in game design, as well as how we play games. And we got together, managed to find a really fantastic group of people who are game designers and game enthusiasts and players who all spoke about their experiences being disabled parts of this community. And it was just a really special conversation that I'm really glad we were able to host. That meant a lot to be able to do that.
See, at the end, I was going to say that panel is literally my favorite. It was just so fantastic to watch and to listen, and that it was just, I loved it. Everybody needs to go watch the Disability and TTRPG panel on their YouTube, EUphoria AP.
Thank you. I agree, you should. They did a fantastic job, and it was a great conversation.
Yes.
I was also going to say the Blades in the Dark, Battles of the Silver Spectres, because it absolutely, we did that out of spite. That personifies the spite element, because if you remember, Michelle, we had that cast together for a different sponsored AP on a different studio.
Yes.
And when EUphoria started coming about, we said to them, look, it's not going to be on this channel because the producer isn't going to be there anymore. We're going to be here. And they said, no thanks, we're out. And we had already recorded an episode of it, and it was just heartbreaking to lose that, because the chemistry between that cast was evident straight away in that one episode. And so me and Michelle were like, okay, can I swear?
Yes.
Fuck them. We're gonna get this cast together, and we're gonna give them something to do, because we can't waste this beautiful cast and this excellent chemistry. And we did it, and Michelle put together this fantastic story, which it really embodied like what we set out to do, because anybody can run a D&D stream. Like, anybody can do that game or that game. And my favorite projects like this one are the ones that have a real local or regional flavor to them, that are very much centered within the UK or Europe and share that culture. And it's very like working. You'll have to remind me the novel that inspired it, Michelle, that was a big reference point.
Yeah, there's a novel called North and South. That's about the Industrial Revolution and tensions between the North and South of England, and the like class disparity and wealth disparity, and like the setting of Blades in the Dark fits very well with that kind of story. So that was what we really wanted to try and explore with it.
Yeah. So it hit those like important sort of cultural things. It had a very European flavor. I felt like Duskfall in particular really lends itself to that. And it just it epitomized what we were setting out to do. So those are the ones that I really love. I really love The Walking Dead that's currently on for the same reason, because it's a very innately Scottish story told by a majority Scottish cast. I think I'm probably incorrect.
3 of the 5 are Scottish. Yeah.
Majority, yeah. So that like that wouldn't get on air anywhere else, I don't think. Like that's could only have a home here, and we're really proud to have it. And I'm hopefully going to segue into what Aida is going to say, because the recent revamp is that as well.
Yeah, I think one of the earlier projects, the second project I've ever did at EUphoria, was a Vampire the Masquerade game. And this one for me was particularly challenging as a concept, because the GM is a good friend of mine. He's a German who lives and raised in the Netherlands, and these are all very small countries ultimately in the end. And there's this one region in the south where the Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany sort of share their 3 borders, and that's where he was from. And I'm familiar with that region as well. And he said, I want to tell a vampire story, but I want there to be like linguistic representation from the Netherlands, Germany, and Belgium. So French, Dutch, and German. Oh, how? Let's try. And we did. We had a series game where we spoke English, but we jumped fluidly into German, French, and Dutch with a table that I think, yeah, we're all immigrants. We're all immigrants in those respective countries. Includes POC, it includes marginalized genders. We just had a blast. It was a vampires could be a very dark story, so the check-ins we were able to do meant that we really drove some table level drama, tensions, dark topics really hard. And that was the one that won us our first Webfest award, which we won for the Cusco. And having been able to say, like, we can reach an audience and it doesn't have to be English, and it's still accessible, and it's also diverse within its casting, meant a lot. So that was really fun. And the other more recent project that I think meant a lot to me was the little one shot I ran of Pasión de los Pasiones, which is a Powered by the Apocalypse game where the players all are in a telenovela, a Spanish language soap opera. But we did it with all Latine people from Latin America who are based in Europe, which for each of us, respectively, anecdotally, is like, this is a demographic we don't see often. We don't really have Black History Month as an entire continent. People don't recognize the large Southeast Asian, particularly populations that are all throughout Europe, African population, let alone the Latin American one, but we're all there. So finally to say, like, no, we also have itty bitty queer, disabled, neurodivergent Latin American diaspora here in Europe. We can play at our time zones, and we can be Latin AF, slapping, crying, drama, like the typical telenovela. That was a game years in the making, because it's always like, I'm all alone. Hello. I'm not alone, but it's hard for people to like present themselves, put themselves on the line. It takes a lot of trust to say, like, hi, I'm willing to like join you in this endeavor, or I'm willing to speak out, or I'm willing to like jump into what it means to embody an identity, what people think about identity. So it started with one other Latin person. Then we knew someone else. Then we knew someone else. I think this was at least 2 years, 3 years in the making. And that meant a lot to me, like spiritually, to say, like, okay, we really can have all the representation we can, even the niche ones. With time, it's a demonstration that people trust our community, trust our values, and feel safe and comfortable to not just have fun and make a cool story, but to embody what it is we're trying to give to everyone else.
I love that one too, because I think, yes, it's so important for all the reasons you said about like niche representation of people who maybe feel that they don't have a community here. And yes, we do. It just have to look a little bit harder to find it and take the time. And you did that work, which is wonderful that it paid off. But also, like, it's a banging AP. It's so good. I was screech laughing watching it. Like, Gloria's fake crying will live on in infamy in my mind. Like, it's really good. And when you get people who are excited to tell a story about their heritage and their culture and their world and their lived experience, it's going to be a really amazing story, because it's going to be something you haven't seen before. So, like, yes, it's wonderful for all the reasons of being diverse, but also it has artistic merit. Those things both exist, and that's really special. So yeah, it's wonderful.
Like the Blade story, like the vampire story, like the Latinese story, it felt like we all put in part of our lived experiences, and you saw people nodding. Like, yes, we're talking, someone's on screen talking about Flammkuchen. These people nodding, like, yeah, I know that reference. People talking about North
pizza,
and South English history. You see people nodding. I was talking about Day of the Dead references. I was talking specific flowers, talking about specific drinks, specific. People were like, yeah, nodding, like, yeah, I know those things. And those got to be front and center. And we're in Europe, and we have this diversity. We don't have to export it. I think, at least for me, Darcy, was my experience in the beginning, in other communities where it's like, okay, we're gonna have Europeans, but oh my God, POC people aren't part of our community yet. Okay, I know lots of them in the US. Come on over. Can you do afternoons, American person? Yes, come on. And it felt like we had to export, but that was a reflection of our community building skills.
That's amazing. I love it. I'm just sitting here like starry-eyed because I just love to see other people in the industry doing these things. I am going to ask one more question, and then we're going to take a quick break, mostly because my contact is bothering me. But I want to go on break on this really fun question. Who is your dream guest that you would love to have come be on your channel?
Ooh. Oh, that's so good.
That's really hard.
I don't think I know them yet.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
We don't have a lot of like, this is okay, I'll qualify this afterwards. We don't have a lot of like AP TTRPG celebrities on this side of the pond. But I don't think even if we did, we as a community, we would be particularly interested in chasing them, because that's not our demographic. Like, we do charity streams, we're going to do charity stuff in December, and that's when we want the clout, that's when we want the pull. But generally speaking, we have found our favorite guests have been like new people that we haven't worked with and haven't heard of, people who have got like less than 500 people following them on Blue Sky or whatever. But then you find that if you get them in the right group and you get them on the right platform, they tell a way better story than some of the most famous people in the world ever could. So I guess my cop-out of an answer is all the new people that we're going to meet in the new year, all the new people who are going to join us that we haven't met yet, because like all that stuff that Michelle and Aida was saying, we talk about those projects, those like niche projects, as being bat signals and just throwing up the flare and saying, we're here, come find us. And when those people come and find us, and we find our ranks of Latine people and disabled people and all those other global majority people who are more isolated, I suppose, when they come and find us and find that they have a home here, that I think gives us the most satisfaction, to know that we've built that community and welcomed them in. And they could be the next celebrity. They could be the next insert famous GM here.
Yeah, I think we've got some really, we haven't announced yet because we're still cat herding, but we've got some really lovely people with who do have their own audiences who are coming to join us for the charity streams next month, which is really exciting to have. That's lovely. But I have to echo what Darcy said. It's not about follower count for me. I just love meeting people who freaking love this hobby, or for some of them, this job. So yeah, it sounds a bit corny, but I think my dream guest is just to keep having more people, especially people of color from across Europe, who are excited to be making games and telling stories with us. Like, every time I'm so creepy about it, I'm like, someone new joined us, look, a POC joined us, and they're from this country, and we don't have many people from that country. That's just like, it's exciting every time. So
filling in your spreadsheet like, oh, I get to add another country.
That's me. My stats, that's me. Like it is a bit, it feels like a cop out, but it's the truth. I think I'm just excited to meet more people. It's great.
Yeah, we haven't met them yet, and yeah, I have to say name, Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, he can come and play anytime. Idris.
Someone like that can absolutely come and play.
Michelle, TTRPGs.
What? No.
Can play games, for example. But if I think 3, 4, 5 years ago, I would have said like, and this is absolutely a valid answer. Like, yes, say you're Matt Mercer, say you're Abria Ian Gars, say you're Cypher of Tears. Absolutely. But they have platforms and they do amazing work. But they're over there and they're thriving. And I love that they're known all around the world. I want to know who those future potentials might be here in Europe. And I would love that maybe they pass through EUphoria. I'd love them to just know about us. And I want to meet them. They're probably out there. We just don't know yet.
I love that. And you all gave a beautiful answer. And I'm still going to stick with my answer of Abria, come fundraise with us.
Well, yeah, we wouldn't say no.
We would not say no. And Abria would be amazing here. And I think she would be lucky to be invited here and to be at this table.
Yeah.
But also, along the lines of what you said, we early on had completely taken like we don't even look at follower count for people. I try to make at least every game have one new person, because it's not just about just bringing in it is a barrier that people have had in the industry before, that they can't build up the follower count because they're not given the opportunities. So we have completely removed that, and I love including the new people. We've had many people who started here and keep coming back to help us with our fundraising. Yeah, it is a barrier that should not be there, and I love to see that people don't think about it.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. Like I said, silly meat, my contact is bothering me, but give everybody a chance to stand up, stretch your legs if needed. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Thank you. Hello, welcome back.
It's so fun.
Just a little update to my representation. I have taken off my contacts and put on my cute little quirky purple glasses because we value comfort over aesthetics. Our next question, I'm going to dive right in. What does the lifetime of a project look like? From where you start out, your processes, and then adding in a little bit about how you ensure safety during your recordings and such. What does that look like for you all?
I think I have a Notion spreadsheet for this.
Definitely.
Oh my gosh, I just felt so good in my heart.
I was actually thinking, crap, there's multiple versions that have not been unified, that maybe haven't been updated. For me, it was like, crap, at least for my spreadsheet game is not synced.
For that in particular, yeah, because I remember when we were trying to onboard Michelle and she was like, how does this work? And we were just like, I don't know, we just do it. We just kind of have a checklist in our head that we follow through. But now I do think we have a version, which is the general flow.
Yeah. I mean, we've
like nowadays what our flow is, instead of the chaos.
We've just started looking at 2026 programming, so we're kind of just at the start of quite a few projects at the moment. So it's probably quite a good time to ask this question, actually. So first, in September, I want to say, we had our pitch form where anyone could give us their ideas. Want to run a game? Want to run a panel? Want to help make something, but not sure if you want to run it, but you think it would be cool if it existed? And we got a lot. I think we got twice as many as we actually had room for in our calendar in the end. We had a very long meeting where we went through everything. And we were like, we were not expecting this many pitches. Oh my God, and they're all so good. It was really exciting, but really hard. So we looked at a lot of things, like what's different that we haven't seen on the channel. Like, let's prioritize people who are maybe wanting to run European systems this year because we've played a lot of American systems, which are wonderful. But let's see if we can get more European systems in. And we looked at obviously different countries, different lived experiences, all of these different things. And also what can we fit in without all burning ourselves out?
Yep.
So then we chose okay, we're going to greenlight all of these ones. And then we figured out roughly which order of the year, how are they all going to fit roughly with room for flexibility, but roughly where would they fit in? So which ones are going to be first? So let's get started on those. So then usually say it's an AP, this might be slightly different for an interview or panel, but say it's an AP, we would contact the GM and say, hey, we want to do your idea. We want to do this many episodes of it as a pre-record, and either Aida or Darcy is going to be your producer because Michelle can't be trusted with the buttons, but she can be trusted with the emails, so she's probably writing this email to you. Roughly what's your ideal cast, 3 people, 4 people, all of these kinds of things, and we'll decide. For some shows we might direct approach people in our community who we know we'd like to have on, especially for stories that have a certain type of specificity. We might direct approach people, or we might be let's do an open casting call and see who's interested and see from the group, meet some new people through that. So we'll decide that. And yeah, even at that point, we're already starting to think about safety because we've already asked for what are the content warnings for your game that you think are likely to come up, because we're going to put that on the casting form. If we approach people, we're going to be asking about, are you comfortable with these content before you join? And then then I guess casting. Is there another step before casting? It's hard to say. A lot of things happen simultaneously.
I think that's about right.
If
we do open casting,
jump
go
in.
ahead.
I was going to say I can jump into the casting aspect because it's something we've all personally experienced, and why we do things a certain way at EUphoria, because we've experienced very different and poorly other places, is when one gets invited to an AP table at EUphoria, we inform them, if there was an open casting or closed casting, we're like, all right, we'd love to have you or welcome you to the table. These are the people who have also been projected or have been invited to the table. These are their names, their pronouns, and whatever public link we could find about them. Would you like to join? And thus, do you clearly give your consent to be playing with these people? who we have already vetted in advance. I'm like, okay, typing, Googling, lurking, spying, you haven't said anything disturbing or upsetting. Cool. More in depth, of course. But we get people to first accept that they're going to join a table with these aforementioned names, because I've been on APs where I had no idea who I was joining with. Was I going to be the only woman on the stream? Was I going to be the only POC? I usually was the only woman. I usually was the only POC. And over time, I learned that's really not my comfort or preferred place to be, like being that token person. So we really cautious and really transparent about here's who we're going to the table. Switches happen, and with Michelle's help, we try to communicate those things as well. We make clearer expectations that we have fixed dates with the GM, with the producers. Your session 0 is mandatory, and someone's going to talk about session 0 specifically. It will happen at this date and this time. If you cannot show, unfortunately, you can't be in this AP. We cannot reschedule this. If the GM has an out, okay, then we try to move heaven and earth. We try to push, okay, we can wait half an hour. But if you're not here, that can't happen. You can't get this table this time. Sorry, no thank you. Hope to see you next time. Nothing personal. And also we have our dates that are fixed with the producer. And thus your stream time or your recording time are this date and this time, with a time zone, with the time set in Discord that automatically changes to your specific time zone, because we're all across different time zones. And we also have flexibility dates. These are backup dates. Please keep those in mind. I've had the experience where it's like, we all get into a room together. I don't know who the people are. Okay, nice to meet you. Okay, now everyone, please chat asynchronously paragraphs about your availability. And I just could not with my hyperfixation. I love you all, but I don't want to hear that you need to go visit grandma on that day. And on this other day, you need to, I don't care. I'm sorry, I love you, but I don't need to hear it. So we try to make the expectations very clear, very communicative. Like, this is what we can do, yes or no. And of course, life happens. We do work in those flexibilities. But as a producer, it's also and working in the project backend, the project management, it's also for our well-being as well, that we have certain expectations, that we're not going to be rescheduling 3-4 times. We're not going to be looking for people. Sorry, I can't do it. Sorry, I can't do it. It happens, yes, but we minimize as much as we can. So these steps are there to preserve our safety and our well-being. But once we get to the session 0, and once we get to comfort and safety, that's where we also consider not just our safety, accessibility, and comfort, not just the player's safety, accessibility, and comfort, but also the audience's. And I can let the next person jump in there.
Yeah, I can talk about session 0s. I hate facilitating session 0s because it's an awful lot of talking and listening to your own voice. But ultimately, we kind of have this. I have a cheat sheet, and we have it kind of down now. We've adopted it. We've changed it. I have to give a shout out to Sarah Moore, who established this session 0 sort of format. Basically, we always have it done by a third party. It is not done by the GM. It is not done by anybody in the cast. It is somebody separate. It is usually one of us.
That works so well.
It really does, because then that gives it gives the GM, we always say your GM is a player as well. They have enough to worry about in terms of telling the story and wrangling all you cats, keeping you on track with rules, time management, all those things. And we want to take their safety as seriously as everybody else's. So we have this third party person who can come in and allow the GM to discuss their safety, their lines, their veils, rather than just facilitating everybody else's. It also gives everybody an outside port of call if they have an issue in game. I've been in games where the GM is the problem. So who do you talk to without causing drama and making things more difficult and uncomfortable for you? That person is usually the producer, but sometimes it's not. So it gives that sort of through line of, this is the person who's going to be there. They're the voice of God when you're recording. You can reach out to them. We have everybody fill in the lines and veils form before session 0, so everybody's got time to look at it and read it through. We've incorporated a bunch of other people's lines and veils sheet. It's a beautiful, beautiful spreadsheet. We take a lot of ideas from other people, and we've kind of made our version. Everything's broken down by category. You can tick, this is a line, this is a veil, ask first about this, or I'm really interested in seeing this. It's always funny, sometimes we get at least one person per game who thinks you have to put a tick in every row for everything. So we get a lot of people who accidentally say that they're really interested in divorce or funeral rites or tentacles, which, hey, pop off. Like, there's a space for that.
There's a game for you somewhere, if that's what you're
definitely.
Really interested.
Pitch your tentacle game to EUphoria 2027. But yeah, we go through them all one by one, and we say, what is the boundary of this? What is harm to children? What is a child? What is harm? Where is the boundary around this? We make sure that people don't feel like they have to out their trauma. They don't have to justify why this is a line or a veil. It's just a utilitarian conversation about, don't discuss this. Children is somebody under 16, under 12, whatever it may be. And then everybody is on the same page. Everybody knows, everybody understands my boundaries, and I understand everybody else's boundaries. Nobody's going to accidentally upset me, and I can feel comfortable that I'm hopefully not going to accidentally upset anybody else. It can take, I've got it down to about a smooth 45 minutes now to go through that. It's pretty granular, and it can look intimidating, I think, when a player comes in and says, we're going to talk about all of these. But a lot of the time, it's just, this isn't going to come up in this story. It's not relevant. So we say, okay, don't need to worry about it. But having that conversation, facilitating that really clear establishment of what is safe and what is not, it's something I haven't really seen elsewhere. And I think it sets us apart. And we're really, really proud of it.
Mm-hmm. And it works in, if I can jump in, it works in conjunction with other safety tools as well, because we've had that really in-depth safety conversation. It means that whoever was the safety facilitator, whether it was the producer or one of the other, almost always the three of us, but occasionally we might have called in a trusted member of the community when we're also in the cast. So we need somebody else because the cast don't facilitate. So once you have that safety facilitator, they're there throughout recording, broadcast, and afterwards. You don't have to, if you have changed your lines and veils, we always say it's not a fixed document at session 0. You can always change it. If you don't feel comfortable being the one who says, hi, I'm now changing this, you can direct message the safety facilitator, and they can then say, hi, somebody has changed this. It just gives that outside person to help make it more comfortable. We have the X cards, we always give that option. We have the open door policy, but also I think actually the pre-recording is part of safety too, because I personally have been on live streams where I might have wanted to X, but I felt a little bit nervous. It is nerve-wracking when you're on a live environment, but in a recording, I can feel, very safe to be like, I'm throwing up an X card. And if I ask it to be edited out, I know it's not going to be, well, not even if I ask, it's not going to be in the edit unless someone's checked, someone's going to check first. So I can just say, oh, actually, that was on my lines. Or, oh, I didn't expect this to come up. Somehow we missed it. This was actually a line for me. And that's something that we can do. So yeah, I've really valued having when I've been a player on the channel as well, having the external person as a safety facilitator has been something which has really been a bit of a, wow, we should all be doing this if it's possible, because it just gives that space for us to be the players and know that there's somebody else helping us to facilitate. And the GM isn't thinking about yet another thing. So I do really love that.
I want to recognize it is a lot of extra work. You have to have a third person who might not be producing, might not be at the table. You have to upfront make this sheet, which can be very intimidating. You have to explain to players who might have all very different experiences what safety means for them. Some of them have never heard of a session 0. That's okay too. You have vastly different expectation levels. There might be follow-ups, there might be check-ins, but it's possible. It's doable. Yes, I acknowledge it is a lot of work. And sometimes you think oh my God, I could just go through. We've been playing for years. We know each other. Have that check-in, because the check-in proves that because I'm your friend, because I've known you for years, I should take your safety even more seriously. And it can be something short or something longer, but I think having that check-in demonstrates care. And from this document and from this chat, we also know these things that we said we're not going to do, that also counts for your private game channel. That's not going to happen there. That also
Mhm.
means these are things to mind for the moderator on Twitch or YouTube. These comments, these things are going to be purged, particularly because of that. When someone has a question about, oh my goodness, someone on stream is talking about eyes, I'm going to mute now. And I'm like, oh, but our safety thing actually specified. Let me update that safety command right now to specify, yes, eldritch eyes, but no harm to. It's for the audience as well, and it's something that absolutely normalizes those conversations. And I'm proud that I'm really proud that EUphoria specifically has made an impression on a lot of people. That when they go to other communities, they're like, oh, and they come back and they're like, oh, I missed that.
Mhm.
Oh, I
Or
really,
they form. They say, "Can I use this form?" I've seen people in community games using Our Lines and Veils form for an off-stream game where they probably wouldn't have had anything beforehand. That template, there's the thing on it. Please use it. Just give us accreditation. Say that this is where you got it, but please use it by all means, because we are really, like we say, really proud to be putting that out into the world and hopefully increasing awareness of it and just raising the bar for table safety on stream and off stream.
Yep.
How long do you want us to talk about this, Nekola? Because we can go on.
Forever. I'm sitting here
You can
like,
say more.
I'm just going to stay
Yeah.
muted because safety is literally one of the biggest things that I'm honestly, after the game, I'm going to ask to look at your lines and veils, if you'll let us, to compare it to ours to see if, because we have, over the time, we've built up our safety tools to kind of fit our channel. But they're ever evolving.
Yes.
And also, for the first time when you were talking, I realized that it's basically, or what you're talking about is basically like, oh no, my captions disappeared. Time out.
Gremlins.
I just, technology is great, but accessibility technology has a way to go. So I apologize if the live captions don't always keep up with us.
We're doing our best.
But yes, basically it's like an intimacy coordinator. People don't understand how important they are, but they are incredibly important. And I think that, I might even rebrand our things a little bit to have like a safety coordinator, because we always have the producer, but I'm very busy. So this is just a fantastic idea, and I will credit you if I steal it. Also, I was wondering about, like, how do you all manage the fact that some of your games are hard, like, after recording, like decompression and safety tools, because some of your games are very deep, like your current one that's running, the Walking Dead Scotland story, where literally in the first 5 minutes of episode 1, Humaloo goes, "When you look in the mirror, do you think you're proud of yourself?" And I paused and went, "Oh, it's beautiful." Sorry, beautiful. That's, anyways. So, with that deepness, how do you practice the after session, follow-ups, between session, roundups, aftercare kind of things?
I say that
to speak.
as someone doing production, during the course of the recording process as well, we inform the GM expectations, like introduce yourselves, introduce everyone else, description, and the time that we've given includes aftercare. You have table, you have your choice of venues for aftercare, stars and wishes, roses and thorns, whatever they may be. But please have them. The producer necessarily isn't always there, because I feel the table had something very deep and personal, and the producer was just kind of like, so it feels almost a bit intrusive to be there. But we always encourage them, have this time. If it's the witching hour, please feel free to have it asynchronously. But I'll admit it here and only here. When I say goodbye, I can see the conversation happening, and I'll stay for 1 or 2 minutes. I'm just like, they think I left. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. Go.
Yeah.
Go. Yeah. Because everyone's downtime is different. I have friends who can talk for like an hour about how they felt in a positive way, but maybe like I don't need to be there as the producer. People can do that. But people have checked in. People have said like, oh, my character was a bit rough on yours. Was that okay? And someone will respond, yes, daddy, harder, like twist the knife. Should have said mommy. I think that would have been that's better. But that's sort of the point, because we facilitated with the safety beforehand, and we've encouraged them to have that rapport, have the communication, talk in advance, what it means for your characters to have a relationship, if it's a romantic one even. They ultimately have this sort of trust that at the end they're like, I bled out on the floor, but it felt so good.
Yeah.
I love that. And I appreciate you all going so in depth on all of this, not just showing people what they can be doing, but showing people what to expect when they come to you, and just maybe making their home tables a little bit better.
I hope so. And we're always learning. Like, I think literally like last month we updated our lines of veil spreadsheet because somebody in a session 0 made, I won't get into specifics, but they made a really good point that 2 things were kind of grouped together. And they said, these things are actually really different, and I would feel better if they were separated. And we were like, damn, yeah, good point. So we also, like, I think a really important, exactly like you said, Nekola, like, be open to learning more things and never be comfortable that, like, we've got it, we're geniuses. Like, no, there's more to learn always. It's an evolving thing.
You always have to be learning. I mean, we can, Diversity Saves can credit you for the accessibility at the top, where we had never approached or never been approached or mentioned the idea of describing our visuals. And so you always, I love how open and sharing people are, because first and foremost, we're not competing. And
no, we're not.
So like
that part.
I wanted to say you set the bar high, but there is no bar, because like everybody is learning, everybody is trying to make space. The internet is infinite. Like, just let us be friends. All right, we should move on.
We just want to be a bat signal. We just want to say, look, this is how we do it. Come and take what you need, learn from it, take it away, apply it to your own stuff. Make it different if it doesn't work for your own stuff. But this is how it can be done. That's what we're here to do.
I love it. All right, the next question. No project is without its challenges. What kind of challenges have you had to overcome, or have caused you to redirect? Maybe something that you're working on.
Michelle, do you want to talk about Brindle Bay?
I think that one of the things that comes with the territory of being like, we set expectations, but we understand that real life has to come first. Like, yes, we have been extremely fortunate on a couple of occasions to be sponsored and be able to actually pay a small stipend to our performers and to our editor, and, like, you know, to ourselves for the work we've done. Not, you know, what we would love to be able to pay, but something. But for the vast majority of our content is people doing it, volunteering their time to make something beautiful. And that means that if real life comes up, real life has to take precedence, and we're not gonna like ever hold that against you. Or, you know, whether that's that you have a disability and you have a flare up today, or whether that's my kid has to go to like the school disco and I forgot it was today, whatever it is, like life gets in the way. And sometimes that means that you have been trying to cast a project for months, and every time you send the happy emoji to say, we've done it, we've got a cast, you check your email and someone's gone, I am so sorry, I can't do that anymore, I have to drop out. And then you go, okay, what about this person? And that can be a challenge. There's a lot of behind the scenes finagling, especially because we have all these things which are important, which are telling the whole cast who everyone else in the cast is. So if you've done that and everyone's approved it, and then someone drops and you have to bring somebody else in, now we go back and everybody, now this is the cast. Do we all approve? Hello, I emailed you a few days ago. I know it seems like you said yes already, but I need you to say yes again. Okay, yes, thank you. And all of that, you know, fiddling around and like trying to find the line of like, okay, this person can't make it today, short notice. Do we reschedule and use the backup date? Or actually, is it more fair to everybody's well-being as a whole that we proceed with one fewer person? What's the most fair and the most sensible in this moment? Because what if we go to the backup date and then the next one, we've then, you know, all of these little calculations we have to do around scheduling to try and give people the space to say, like, real life comes first, but sometimes that means maybe you can't be on this project, we'll find another time. Or maybe it means we can reschedule things, but it's having to work with everybody to figure out what's the right thing for that particular game. And especially because we have things like safety facilitators and these extra bodies sometimes involved, that's a lot of people we have to coordinate schedules for. So how do we minimize people having to block dates and then cross them out over and over again? That could be, I'd say 90% of the time, it's really easy. And everyone just goes, yeah, sure, I'll see you then. And then that other 10% of the time, oh my goodness, it is stressful.
And sometimes we have to also say, this project has to come to a close now. I've been in a situation for, I think it was a live show, where someone, the GM couldn't make us feeling unwell. Of course, GM, take her out. No one should feel forced. I hate that people feel pressured to perform when they really ought to be taking care of themselves. I hate that they feel that pressure. I wish they didn't, but I understand that. But I'm glad that they were to communicate, I can't do it today. Cool. We're going to just go to the next date. Something else happened. Next thing can happen. Okay. Because it's me, I'm going to bend earth and space for you. We're going to go into the backup date because we had the backup date. Couldn't make the backup date. Couldn't make the second backup date. We went to a third backup date where I'm like, I'm sorry. Even for me, I was like, I have other projects to juggle. My expectation meter was also not feeling great. And it's like, at this point in time, this project is not going to happen anymore. Thank you so much for what you did. I genuinely appreciate all the hula hoops we try to keep spinning. But sometimes it's also best for the self, the mental psyche, whatever, to say, like, we did our best. We genuinely tried our hardest, and we have to let this one go. But I have all your contact information, so I'm going to be seeing you in the future for something else. And we have recycled people in that regard. But for me, the biggest growth has been saying no, saying it has to stop. We have to move on. We have other deadlines. This challenge can be tenfold if it's something that's contract-based, something that is going to require payment and contractually delivery dates. Whew. Sometimes we have to say no and sometimes we have to move forward. I think other than that, scheduling has been the biggest thing. The technical gremlins we've experienced, of course, but we're high-level fighters, all of us in this room.
We are, and I think one of the challenges that us three experiences, we set all these expectations and boundaries and protocols for our casts and our GMs, and sometimes we're not good at following them ourselves. We're like, it's us. We can bend the rules for us. We can work a bit hard. I'm sorry to call you out in this fashion, apparently, but it's so easy to do. It's so easy to tell other people, put yourself first, take care of yourself. It's just a game. If you need to call out, you have to call out. Real life happens. But we're all here going, I can juggle this. I can pull an all-nighter in the editing cave.
It's Darcy and I literally with a bucket next to our desk because we were feeling unwell.
No. Can I put you on blast right now? I remember specifically a time that I won't say which of you. I jumped in because you were producing a stream, and I said to the people on screen, you need to go to break right now. And then they went, can we have 10 minutes? And I typed no. And this person typed yes and sent it seconds before me. And I was like, no, why did you say yes? We need to go to break now. You're sick. I was yelling at my computer.
I will confess. I got food poisoning or something. I had a stomach bug. And when I started producing, I was fine. I felt a little bit nauseous. I was fine. And by the time they were like halfway through the first half, I very quietly said in their chat, I'm just going to nip away from the PC. Please don't catch fire or anything. And I had to go and bath my guts up. I don't know what happened, but it was not good. And then I was like, you got the sick bucket, and I was lying on the floor of this office feeling terrible. And I said, it was that moment of, okay, Darcy, if this was anyone else, if this was Aida producing the stream, you would be yelling at her and saying, get off the stream, let somebody else help. And so I did the worst, most difficult thing. And I put a message in our chat and I said, I can't produce this stream. I have to switch out. Can anybody take this off me? Either I'm going to have to hand it over to somebody to get it complete, or I'm going to have to tell the cast, I'm sorry, we have to call this stream. I can't do it. That is the worst feeling.
It's
Terrible.
really hard because you know that if it was anybody else, you would say it's fine. But when it's sometimes you're your own, and I say this for all of us, we're all our own worst little voice in our head saying, no, but you're different. You have to push through it. It's like, I don't.
Yeah, let them get to the break. Let them get to a narrative point, and then
me typing no, and then yes just pops up, and I'm like, God damn it. But yeah, I think that is kind of interrelated. That's another challenge that I think we've touched on as well, is just like being so ambitious and so excited and saying yes to everything. Sometimes a really challenging thing is to say no to like an opportunity comes and we're like, we really want to make this work. And then we're like, this isn't, we can't do this. We can't do this. We have too much on our plates. We have lives. We have careers outside of this. So some of us have children or small animals or large animals to take care of. Like, we can't take this on right now, and that's really hard to say no to something which sounds like it could be cool, a cool idea or a cool opportunity. But again, it's like we've got to protect our peace. we've got to keep things within the realm of possibility. There's only 3 of us, and if one of us gets ill and is out for a few weeks, we have to make sure the whole thing doesn't collapse while the other 2 are like picking up the slack, and that can be a big challenge because we want to do everything all the time.
Happy ending. We were able to like pass the baton over, and I was able to like get in there. I know some of the people who were on the cast a little more personal, and I was like, you shouldn't have done that. You're my friend. Don't do that again. Let's go.
Yes, right. We let Darcy go and puke in peace and finished off.
I went to bed. I slept for like 12 hours. It was great.
We got the stream finished.
On what Michelle said, I think I'll do this for my own self. I want to say yes. I want to do all the things. Also because growing up a POC woman, an immigrant in every country I've lived in, it's like, well, if you can't do it, what are they going to say about you? Oh, she couldn't do it because she's a girl, because she's this, because she's that. Of course they couldn't do it. And it feels like I have to push myself out of spite where other people at similar skill levels, higher, even lower, get much less judgment and less flack. Whereas it's like, crap, I feel I'm representing all this. I said all this stuff. I have to put in. I've shown up to session 0 with my own bucket, of course. And I was like, nope, I'm fine. I'm fine. Any other person, I would have been screaming at them, go to bed. Like, nope, I'm okay. I have my bucket. I don't know what happened. I was fine. I sat down and I was like, I know you're about to open your mouth and say welcome. 1 second. I don't know what. But we have the rule. If you're not at session 0, you can't be at the table. The end. Yeah. And I was like, oh my.
And because without calling out what it was, that was a sponsored one too. And I think that leads into it's the nature of the industry as well, where because it is often a side hustle, because it is a creative industry, and because things are so tight and difficult, you feel like you can't let your foot off the gas, because if you lose momentum for a second, someone will overtake you, you will lose that opportunity. We had to say no. The thing we just had to say no to was for somebody that a very, very an excellent person, an excellent publisher. We've worked with them before. We hope to continue working with them. And we had this opportunity to do something that I'm particularly really invested in making happen. And so I was like, come on, let's do it. Wanting to get that momentum and not wanting to let that person down, where you fear, if I can't perform, they will think that I will never be able to perform and we'll never get those sponsored opportunities again. We'll never get these, like just feeling like you have to perform at the peak. Like Ida says, you can't let them see you sweat. It sucks.
But like, I feel like this is why we put so much into building representation. We never have one token POC at a table, always at least 2. We're always trying to make sure we have a range of disabilities, neurodivergencies, queer representation, all of these things, because when you are the only one, you are the only one, and you have to represent your community. When we have a community full of different people, hopefully some of that pressure can lift and we can know that we're not the only one. And like what I do in this moment does not reflect on, we know that in our hearts, but we also can tell ourselves it really doesn't, because we know that there are others in this space who represent us too, and we're all different and unique individuals, and we don't all have to represent the entirety of what we are at every moment.
But the bad brain juice says otherwise, Michelle.
I will come and I will fight the bad brain. But this is what I try to tell myself every time, that anyone who would make a judgment about who I represent based on one decision I make isn't someone whose judgment matters. I don't need that judgment, And the more that we can build a diverse world of TTRPGs here in Europe, the more we can show that making a judgment based on one person is complete bollocks. And you made a mistake saying we were allowed to swear.
Somebody clip that.
This is why you said you were allowed to swear. But you know that's why diversity matters, because when you have representation, when you have people both on and behind the screens who are representing a different experiences, we all know that one person having to bail out last minute doesn't mean we can never have anyone like that in whatever way it is again. It just means that person had a bad evening, and hopefully in time we can learn to give that grace to ourselves as well. But it's always the hardest battle when it's with ourselves, of course.
I don't know if you consider this last couple minutes vulnerable, but I really appreciate you all being vulnerable about talking about all of those things. And yeah,
Our buckets.
Huh?
Our buckets.
Your buckets. But also it is, I mean, it is such a real thing that like we have, well, since I've been the production director, we've only had to actually cancel one thing, and we rescheduled and we still use those people. We love them, but like there is a, eventually you do have to for the sake of, but we are also very health first because, multiple of us on the board have disabilities, and so, we don't fault anyone for having to reschedule or things like that, but me rescheduling?
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
We had, behind the scenes, we had this conversation with the board last week because I had to reschedule a community showcase because I didn't go to my day job and for some reason thought that I would be okay to do the community showcase. And they're like, no. Yeah, it is so difficult. Therapy, y'all. I love my therapist. Everybody needs therapists. They're the best thing in the world. But thank you for being vulnerable and talking about those things, because they are good for other people to realize they're not alone in thinking that, and that we're all working towards breaking down some of these preconceived notions that maybe other people have that are bollocks. I love that word.
Good word.
I love hearing it in your accent.
Oh, thank you. All right. As I was saying earlier, we are, I don't even know if I said this on stream or not, we are not competing. We are all trying to make sure everybody succeeds. So what piece of advice do you wish that you had received that you would like to pass on to somebody who may be thinking about breaking into the space? Oh, those eyebrows. I love this question.
I love this question.
If you're white cis man, you don't need to be on stream.
Correct. Next question.
You said it so fast I didn't understand it. Is that the point?
Yeah, that was the point. Excuse me. Let me lengthen that out. I have received a question like that before, like someone who wanted to do more actual play things. And then my first question is, why do you want to do actual play? That's my experience, for example. Do you think that playing AP is a different experience from playing online or in person that you want to achieve?
Oh, no,
do you want to see yourself on screen? Are you wanting to tell a story? Why do you want to do an AP? Oh, because I think it's fun. It is a lot of fun. But at the same time, when we see who is on the screens, when I see who is on the TV and on the movie, representation matters. And for years and millennia and now and in the future, the majority of who we see on the screens are going to be cishet white men. We're good, thanks. If you want to start an AP channel or start APs in yourself, and you are a cishet white man, please. Do you have to? Maybe don't.
Maybe don't.
I can go more high pitched if it gets the point across, but APs are so much fun. And yes, there is a space for everyone, including cishet white men, especially the allies, especially the good beans, especially the ones that do a lot of effort, support, and uplift everyone around them, particularly those from marginalized communities. But I think if anyone is considering being in a public forward-facing place, please consider having someone from a marginalized community, specifically from my point of view, a POC one, be front and center or be at that decision-making table. That will make everything you do better. And that's a separate stream I can go on for hours about. So that's my take. It's not hot. It's sub-zero. It's dry ice. I don't know.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I would say mine. I think if I could go back in time and talk to me when I started doing AP stuff, like, you know, if I was talking to someone like me who was starting out, who's like a POC, who's disabled and queer, and, you know, a real box ticker, or like, that's a Shafi Khorshandy joke. She comes out and says, "Hi, I'm a Iranian female comedian. They call me the box ticker." I love that joke. When you're somebody who is marginalized multiply, there will be times when you are making up the numbers, you're tokenized, and you know that's what's happening. It still happens to me sometimes. You know, it's like, "Hey, can you be in this?" Really, really short notice. And I'm like, "Did you notice that your cast was all white and someone called you out?" You know, or something like that. You know, you are going to sometimes be making up the numbers, and you're going to know that's what's happening. And you're allowed to, if it's an opportunity that you think might be good, you're allowed to use that. You're allowed to be like, "I'll be the token today if it gets me in a room with some people that might help later." And if you're like strategic about that and you look out for the good folks who know what you're going through, like the people on this call who understand, there will come a time when you don't need to make up the numbers anymore. And you can have it happen like it happened to me a couple of weeks ago. And you can be like, "No, I'm not doing that, lol. I'm not being your one token person to make you look good when you ask me last minute." That will happen if you look out for the good people. I'm going to butcher this quote, but I think it's a Toni Morrison quote that if you're free, your job is to free somebody else. If you have power, your job is to empower somebody else. So once you get to that point, when you're not making up the numbers, now we have power to cast our own APs, and we're trying to make sure that we're uplifting more people and like not climbing the ladder and then be like, "We're up here now," but we're not even that high up. You know, we're still really at the beginning of our journey, but we have the opportunity to cast APs and people want to be in them. So let's make sure that we are making it better than in the environment when we were trying to get started. I think that's really the best advice I could give, is like, keep at it, find your people. There will be a time when you're not making up the numbers, and make sure when that happens that you make sure no one else feels that way, you know, and we can make it better over time.
Yes.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Darcy?
I don't have a huge amount to add to that, but I think as the token white person at Euphoria, that is sort of my contribution. I know a lot of the time it's my job to just shut the fuck up. A lot of the time it is my job to pull white woman passing privilege and take on emotional labor that they don't need. And a lot of the time it's just for them to say what they have to say, and we go, "Yeah, that part," and legitimize it and stand in front of slings and arrows that actually we don't get a lot of. We don't seem to attract a lot of like shitheads. I guess they just get the
I'm
aura
starting
and
to
leave us
worry.
alone.
Or maybe or maybe they are there and they think a lot about us, but we just don't think about them. I haven't spent a single brain cell on them.
No,
recently.
Not recently.
I don't know. I'm starting to worry that we might actually be very likable. And
oh no! Oh, we're doing it wrong.
Wouldn't that be awful? Yeah, I want to be intimidating. Damn
it! You definitely are.
Thanks.
But yeah, no. If you are that person who has the white privilege, who has the like cis het passing privilege, that can be your job. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you don't need to be a martyr and like, "Oh, look at me, I'm throwing myself under the bus." But sometimes you do. Sometimes you stand up and you take the hits so that other people don't have to. And sometimes you shut the fuck up. White cis het man, shut the fuck up.
Yes. Beautiful. I love that so much.
I will say, sorry, I gotta jump in because I gotta say, Darcy does this, and Darcy does it in ways like, I have gotten work because Darcy has been approached and Darcy has said, "Who else is involved? Those are all white people. You need to diversify." And it's like, "Oh, we don't know anyone." It's like, "Well, I do. Here's a list of names." You know, that is the way that white people can show up. It doesn't have to be public being a martyr. It's like, when someone says to you, it's really hard because we just know people of color applied, we don't know anyone, are you able to go? Well,
What
I
a
know, I can give you 5 names right now. Or,
self-burn.
oh, we don't know any
Mhm.
disabled TTRPG performers. Well, here's a list of 5 names. I can give you
You
some.
keep your Rolodex. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like
You
that's a way
don't
that you
keep
can
an
show up.
actual list because that's not great.
No,
but you
can.
you
But
know
if
the
you
people, you make the
if you are
connections.
paying
Yeah.
attention, you will know people and you'll be able to think of them, and that
Yeah.
is a way you can show up for people. And we can all do that. When someone approaches us, ask who else is involved and what's missing, and can I help you find those people?
Also, if you are doing an open casting call and you find that that you're not getting this certain type of people, you need to reach out to those people and ask why and what you can do differently, because you are not attracting them, and that is why they are not applying.
Tell
Very,
them
very,
again.
very-
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Yes. Very quick anecdote. I was a part of another studio and open casting calls, and all the applicants were white. And I said, well, we can't do that. And they're like, oh, that's just what happens. Like they had been established and I joined, and they said, that's just what happens. We just don't tend to get POC applicants. And I said, well, then you reach out to them.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not attracting them, they don't feel welcome, and you need to reach your hand out and say, this is a space for you. What can you bring? We would love to have you. And lo and behold, that one event that I was a part of was majority POC, and that I dipped the fuck out and came here. And then afterwards, they went back to all white again. And it's just, it's so easy to just send an email. Like, it can feel intimidating and like you're being a bother or a pest or like, but no, like people like to be part of things. People like to be invited to be part of things. And you don't have to say, hey, I need a brown person. Please, can you come? Like, you can just honestly talk about the work that they've done and why that they are interesting. And would you like to be a part of this? You don't have to show your ass. And yet.
That's a good piece of advice. You don't have to show your ass.
You don't
Yes,
have to.
we don't
if you
need to
want
see it.
to, you can. Be sure you're getting paid, but you don't have to.
So true.
Yeah.
All right. This conversation has been absolutely fantastic, and I very much appreciate you all joining us. Before I ask the final question, I just wanted to open it up in case there was anything you wanted to highlight before we move on to the final question about the future.
The future, oh my word.
It is.
This is a personal plea from the staff of EUphoria.
Oh no.
Make it clear where you live. What country do you live in?
Yes.
The amount of people, and I myself didn't do this until I realized, who don't say what time zone they're in.
Mm-hmm.
And say like, I'm a such and such a thing. And it's like, great. Are you in the US? Are you in Australia? Are you in Europe? Like, tell people. My personal plea, tell people what country you're in. It makes it so much easier. For people who want to work with you, it's so much easier if they know where you're based.
I just want to also call out my fellow Americans that when somebody asks where you're from, don't say your state. Absolutely nobody is going to know where Illinois is, and that's where I am. Oh, it's in America. It is in the Central Time Zone. And also, people need to start using Hammer Time for Discord. Now that I figured out how to use it, it's actually really fun.
It's amazing.
People actually, it's funny, in our Discord, we had somebody had made a typo and it became our, like, people would say it every day in the morning of their time zone. And now people just say, hello, good time zone. And it is, it's adorable and I love it so much. Anyway, keep going.
Love it. That's mine. That's my personal plea.
Yeah.
Things to say, personal, please.
While you're thinking, I will highlight that you all have some amazing content on your website, euphoriaap.com. There is also lists of TTRPGs that were created by people in the European area, and you have hundreds, probably not hundreds, I'm exaggerating. You have so many recorded actual plays, interviews. I didn't even get through all the interviews. But the disability representation. There's even a little short one about what non-binary means, and I just loved that so much as somebody who was talking about, or there goes my captions again, who always has a hard time talking about describing their non-binariness, and so I just thought that little short was very fun. But you have tons and tons of things on the website, so everybody be sure to go check it out and follow their socials. Anyway, gave you a little time to think.
And thank you for lending your platform Thank you for the work. A 501c3 is a registered charity. There are obligations, there are financial, administrative hurdles to leap there on top of the actual work that you were doing. That is a wonderful initiative. Thank you for putting in the work. Thank you for existing. Thank you for helping us, the world, everyone who comes through your show, normalize and celebrate these values.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that very much. It is not possible without the fact that we have a very willing and diverse board who is currently there's 9 of us. It did start out with only 5, and it would not be possible. Somebody handles our social media, and they are fantastic, and somebody does our paperwork, and we have fine. And so it is a group effort. I cannot take credit. I wasn't even a founder, but we would not be here without the work of the team. That's what I gotta say. Get a team. Don't do things by yourself.
Great advice.
Yeah. Anything else you want to highlight before I jump into your future questions?
Oh, if you're a game designer based in Europe, send us an email.
Hi.
It's on our
please.
website. Send us an email and say, hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm based in this country. I wrote this game and here's what it's about. We try to do, Ida and Darcy do these lovely series of TTRPGs we heart from European creators. You do them every couple of months usually, and you just chat about games we've found that look cool. So if you email and tell us about it, then we'll keep an eye on it, So please just come say hi. Tell us what you're up to.
It doesn't have to be in
free.
English. It doesn't have to be in English either. We all together, our community speaks all the languages. We have Google Translate. We can work it out.
Yeah. Come say hi. Tell us about what you're making. We'd love it.
And I will make sure that all of those links are in the video description when we upload this later to YouTube. So it'll be nice and easy for you to find.
Yay!
Thank you.
All right. So the last and final question. Where did my... Cool. All right. So what is coming in the future for EUphoria? What kind of things are you looking forward to? Do you have coming out in the next couple months or years? And also plugging your own personal things if you're doing anything outside of EUphoria.
There are things outside of EUphoria?
Right? I finally got something outside of Diversity Saves Eyes.
Yay!
Yes.
JJ,
how much do we want to reveal?
Just go for JJ.
Yeah.
The cast. The cast too. Name drop
some of the cast.
Okay. Yeah,
the names. Drop those names.
Last year we did Deck the Dice. That was our holiday charity fundraising scheme, and it was a lot of work. We had a lot of fun with it, and we thought there's got to be an easier way of doing this. Aren't there people who already have this thing set up? Turns out, yes, there's a little thing on this side of the pond and globally called the Jingle Jam. And we set our calendar alerts and we were looking out for it, and we found the submissions. And this year we are very, very excited to have joined the Jingle Jam family. We're going to be streaming in December, raising money for 6 charities. I can't remember them all off the top of my head. I could if I open the Jingle Jam Discord. WWF, War Child, the Trevor Project, Make-A-Wish, The Grand Appeal, Calm, Become, and Autistica. These fantastic charities across the world doing amazing things. We're going to have 2 games. We have a spousal duo. We have Michelle running a game of Jimmy Mothball's festive staffing agency steals Christmas.
Here we go.
By Chant Evans from Ecstasis Games.
Yep.
And Michelle's partner, Michelle's wife, is going to be running a really long-titled game that we have shortened to One Page Roulette. A bunch of one-page games all on a wheel that Aida has created in a Canva, and they're going to spin the wheel and tell the same story throughout using different one-page RPG systems. I think we just dropped... Did we drop the big names?
We have names.
Grant Howitt is coming to play One Page Roulette because the king of one-page RPGs. Why wouldn't you invite Grant Howitt? And we have Kim Richards coming to play the other one, Jimmy Mothballs, of High Rollers fame. She's been very kind to come and be interviewed by us before, and part of Yogscast, part of the Jingle Jam family already. And we said, do you want to play more games? And she said, yeah. And then we've got a couple of our community members coming to join in as well. Not confirmed, so we won't talk about everybody. But yeah, those are the big ones that we're really excited for. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're really, really happy to have joined a really organized group of people who can do all of the admin and overheads, and we can just play games and raise money. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
Oh my
so
gosh,
excited.
that's amazing.
And their name alliterates too.
Yeah, Jingle Come. That's the real reason we did it.
Aida was like, I'm not taking part if it doesn't alliterate.
I love that so much. Oh my goodness. Well, we can look forward to that. I will definitely have to tune in. Oh my gosh, I'm very impressed you got Grant Howitt. We have played many Grant Howitt games. And
He's
You just
delightful.
emailed him and
Yeah, I just emailed
games?
and was like, yo, games. Yeah.
so much.
Lovely Grant. I'm very
Yeah.
happy he's coming to join us.
Okay.
And then next year we're just going to try new things, aren't we? We're just going to try some new formats, try some different events.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We've
Just
got
trying to try it out.
more beautiful APs. We've got one-shots, we've got some series, we've got some chat shows, we've got some other interesting things, more kind of panel stuff that we've already got plotted out for 2026. So
Some familiar faces will come back too. We are intending to have TTRP Girls back, where we're going to have at least a month long or tables that are exclusively women or people who represent and identify with femme. That's always been a hoot. We've always gotten brand new talent and brand new community members that way as well. So we're intending for that to come back as well.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that.
And the other thing that's kind of happening soon-ish, Darcy and I are going to be at the London-based TTRPG convention known as Dragon Meet. We're going to be walking around. We're going to be at some panels. I myself am going to be hanging out at the POC zone that is run by our friend Taylor and Navarro, which is a physical space that is intended for POC people to come in and network them exclusively. There's like a understanding magical barrier at the door where it's like only people of a certain identification kind of come in, and it is a sort of space of sanctuary. And that's the kind of community and those are the values we like to support as well. We're going to be handing out cards, shaking hands. I'll be giving out Dutch waffle cookies wherever I go. That's what I do. I'm Latina. I have to feed people.
So I think within 30 seconds of meeting you in person for the first time, I had a stroke waffle in my hand. And I was like, great, I haven't eaten enough today.
That's how we do.
Yeah.
That's how Aida conditions you. Just like, Aida's good. Aida has food.
Yeah. Oh, Aida, you're also giving a talk on the Friday of Dragon Meet.
The night before Dragon Meet will be something called Muppet Meet, which is a sort of professional networking panel event hosted by UK publisher Soul Muppet and industry professionals like Rowan Rook and Deckard from Grant Howitt, etc., are going to come and give talks about their professional expertise, their experiences, lessons learned. And EUphoria is going to be hosting a panel there as well, talking about what APs mean to publishers and what publishers can mean to APs, that this can be a symbiotic relationship for art and for marketing.
Absolutely beautiful. All right. I did. Did you have another one?
Oh, no, I think that was all EUphoria specific that we had. And I was just like, feels good. Sorry, that was my feels good sigh.
You're good. You're good. All right. I did think of one more little question. It's fun. Okay, we've determined everyone here is a fan of wordplay, of alliteration. How do we feel about portmanteaus? Because those are my favorite.
I love a portmanteau.
A good one.
Are so much fun. I love just inventing new ones all the time.
They make me say portmanteau. I'm not ashamed.
Oh God.
I'm not ashamed. You both of my mothers just went like head down at the same moment.
It's because we love you, okay?
There are punsters. There are punsters in our Discord, and we have one of my favorite things about our Discord is we have a lot of custom emojis, and they're all kind of born of in-jokes and things that happen. And one that happened because of the amount of portmanteaus and puns and bad dad wordplay. We have a little, when you play The Sims and they have an interaction and they dislike each other strongly, and it's just the two people in the minus sign in bright red. We have that, and I will often be the first person to put that under some really bad wordplay.
Oh, but we do also have the positive, the plus plus. So if you support the puns, you can be like, no, this made me like you more.
We have a voting system.
Yeah.
As much as I go like this, I speak multiple languages, and I appreciate that these are happening. The people are doing this in languages that are not their native language, and that's something I can be impressed about as well, and cringe. But I'm like, you're telling a story, you're evoking emotions, negative ones, with your language, and that is a skill, and that is something to be applauded. And I give my gift to you is my response of, if I were to stay stone faced, I think that's the worst thing I can do in response. I do it to my husband sometimes. It's like, when it's enough, like, I'll stop reacting. You do it for the reaction. Here you go.
That's why I do it.
The thing that turned me around on puns, because I used to not be a pun fan, was somebody telling me, no, I love puns because English is not my first language, and like, I'm really proud that I can do this in a language. And I was like, oh, actually, I need to open myself up a little more. And so that's a thing that I love. Anyways, so once again, thank you so much for joining us, for taking time out of your, I think, evening. And I just appreciate it so much. So we are going to sign off. If you want to one more time, just give your names and where people can find you if you would like to give your personal info or your personal socials. Otherwise, I will have all of the links in the description afterwards. We'll start the opposite way with Michelle.
Oh, hello, I have been and remain Michelle Kelly. You can find me on various social medias at Michellecopter. I also have some little mini games on Itch at Michellecopter if you want to check those out. Yeah, I'm an actor, so sometimes I'm in theatre stuff and do singing and things as well as TTRPGs. So come check out what I'm about. I often post photos of my greyhounds. There's that too.
Puppies. Okay. And then Darcy.
Hello, friends. It's me, JC Darcy. You can find me on Blue Sky. I believe my handle is just at JC Darcy. I don't post very regularly because I've been charged with Euphoria social media, and that's enough social media for me. It is a terrible, terrible thing. But yes, I work here, and I also occasionally dip my hand into writing. I have an itch page as well with some things on it. I wrote some mech mini games recently as part of our Mech Tembo, which I'm really proud of. They're really good fun. So yeah, go and check those out if you are so inclined. I think I need to write more mech stuff, so keep an eye out for that.
We can facilitate that.
I came up with a really punny title. I need to write a very mechy Christmas. I don't know what that game looks like, but the title is there, so keep your eye out for that.
in pixel font, right?
Yes, of course, of course.
Excellent. Always thinking about that marketing. Hi, my name is Aida. You can find me at In the Pan, I think with hyphens or underscores. I'm mostly also just helping out with the Euphoria social, so I'm the baby introvert usually when it comes to social media. You can find me podcasting as well with my friends at the Tumble Through Network. We play a Pathfinder 2E long-term campaign. We are a table that's all based in Europe, and with a POC queer ADHD representation as well, which is something that is a lesson that we are sending on to our friends. And most recently, you'll find me an itty bitty cameo at the Kismet game, the God Killer game that they recently did. I dressed up. My family's from Bolivia in South America, so I got some of the clothes. I looked up some of the iconography and made up my face, and I spoke in Spanish, wishing, damn, I wish I knew an indigenous language. Next time.
Yeah, I love it. I haven't gotten to watch episodes 6, 7, and 8 yet, so like, but that was fantastic. Another place you can also, I can't believe I went the whole thing and I forgot to mention, another place you can also find these lovely folks is going to be the Intrepid Web Fest in January.
Holy moly, yeah.
You didn't even get that one.
So keep an eye out. A couple of people who we have interviewed have shown up there, so I am very excited to get to watch them be on display. But I have been Nekola. This is Diversity Saves. Keep an eye out on our social medias. We are about to launch we have already been working on, but we're about to fully announce all of our Haunted Holidays annual fundraiser things, as well as new programs that are coming out in 2026. But again, thank you all and have a
Thank
great
you.
day. Bye.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.